Now, the countdown to the critical talks between the United States and Iran in Pakistan has begun. But the negotiations are already shrouded in a lot of confusion and contradictions. There are several sticking points that have already emerged ahead of the direct talks between the two sides. Now, recent comments from the Iranian side that has set a fresh precondition ahead of the first round of talks in over 11 years. Iran's parliamentary speaker has issued a statement on two preconditions that need to be met before any kind of discussions with the American representatives can even begin. Ghalibaf has said, and I quote, two of the measures mutually agreed between the parties are yet to be implemented. Firstly, there needs to be a ceasefire in Lebanon, which was a precondition that Iran had put forth before talking of any negotiations. And second is the release of Iran's blocked assets prior to the commencement of the negotiations. These two matters must be fulfilled before the negotiations begin. Now, this has come at a time when the 10-point proposal from the Iranian side has already stirred a massive controversy after Washington said that the plan that was shared with them varies from the one that is being publicly reported upon. Now, remember, Donald Trump in his post had said that the premise of the talks will be on the 10-point plan that the Iranians had in fact put forth, but the president did not put out what those 10 plans were. And once there was a massive controversy saying that this is effectively Donald Trump conceding to all the demands of the Iranians, there were clarifications that started coming forth from the Trump administration saying that there was a difference between the 10 points that were discussed by the Iranians with the Americans before Trump agreed for a ceasefire and what the Iranian administration had put out in public domain via its state media. Now, remember, Iran maintains that the Americans had agreed in principle to the 10 proposals that they put forth as a foundation for any talks. And amongst the specific issues that are to be discussed are Iran's nuclear enrichment, which happens to be a major sticking point. Tehran remains defiant on the question of enriching uranium for civilian purposes. But the United States has been repeatedly accusing Iran of racing towards a nuclear weapon, which Iran hasn't done in the last 20, 30 plus years. And at the center of these accusations is an estimated 460 kilograms of highly enriched uranium that's enriched up to 60% purity. The control of the Strait of Hormuz is a contentious issue that has emerged after the Americans and the Israelis started this war. Donald Trump has accused Iran of obstructing global oil shipments and threatening maritime trade. But the Iranian leadership has rubbished these allegations by the Americans. It has said that the Strait of Hormuz is not shut. It is open for any traffic that wants safe passage, which is not at war with Iran, but it will now have to pay a toll for the safe passage. This, Iran says, is a legitimate exercise of its sovereign rights. Now, Trump has also said that a joint venture between both the countries can be negotiated, with Washington also eyeing a share in Tehran's plan of tolling the vessels that pass through the maritime passage. Another major point of contention is Iran's demand of possible security guarantees from the Americans that no such attacks will take place, either by the Americans or by the American-backed Israelis in the future. How the delegation responds to this as a security guarantee and also the question of reparations for the damages that have been caused by the Americans and the Israelis in Iran needs to be seen. The negotiations on Saturday will just be the first round, which will set the tone for any further talks in the future. But remember, the Americans in the last 9-10 months have pulled out twice in the middle of negotiations and have started bombing Iran. Is that what will happen this time around as well? Is something that needs to be seen. And we also earlier spoke with the former ambassador to the United Nations from America, John Bolton, who was also, interestingly, the former National Security Affairs Secretary to Donald Trump during his first term. Listening to what he had to say about the war and about the negotiations and about the expectations that one can have in the negotiations that are expected to happen tomorrow. Listening.
Well, I think Trump is clearly looking for any way he can to get out of the the war against Iran, and he's doing so because he has obviously seen the price of oil go up, seen the price of stocks go down, and that matters to him more than the strategic issues. He's tried to declare victory in several ways. He's tried to declare all military objectives have been met. He's said that we have changed the regime in Iran, even though we haven't. So I think the Iranian negotiators are going to see that Trump is worried about his own political prospects. It'll give them a significant advantage. The real question is, how many concessions does Vice President Vance make before it looks even worse politically for Trump to cave into some of these Iranian demands? And I think it's very much up in the air what comes next. Know that Iran asked that Vance be the head of the U.S. delegation, which is really pretty remarkable when you think about it. Even more remarkable that Trump agreed to it. Moreover, I'm not aware off the top of my head of any other significant international negotiation that a vice president has actually headed. This is very unusual to say the least. Because the vice president, by definition, is the next best thing to the president himself. And that's not who the Iranians are heading their delegation with. It could be the Speaker of their parliament, but really, unless you're in the Revolutionary Guard, you're not a top official of this government. And I think it puts Vance and Trump in a very difficult position because if Vance does make a significant number of concessions,